Hi, my name is Karen Tashima, and I'm the Vice Chair for Faculty Affairs in the Department of Medicine.
And I'm Lou Rice. I'm the Chairman of the Department of Medicine.
The process in academic promotion really involves getting your CV together, which has a lot of different parts to it. But what we want you to do is to maintain your CV while you're working and collecting all the information that you have that's important to be on the CV, such as your teaching, your giving talks, your research. And so that's a really important part for the academic promotions process. A second really important part is to identify which track you're going to be in. And so we have a research track, and we have a clinician educator track, and a teaching scholar track. So those three tracks involve different criteria for promotion. So you'll need to familiarize yourself with the tracks and the criteria that are needed for promotion. And you really are thinking about 7 years ahead. So it's important to keep up with things year by year. 7 years goes by quickly, and then you'll be considered for promotion at that point. And the promotion, it actually occurs in your 8th year.
I really think it's important to emphasize just how much easier it is if you can keep track of it in real time. One of the most frequent problems that comes across faculty is that it comes time for promotion. They really want to be promoted, and their CVs have not been kept up. And now it's a matter of going back and trying to retrace everything. And retracing is sometimes not easy, and it's a bit of a pain. So really, it's important to think about this early in your faculty career to try to create a system where you can keep track of things. If you're on the research track, you want to keep track of all your publications. You want to keep track of any grants you have. If you're in the teaching scholar track, what curriculum are you making? These are the important things that you will have to have on your CV so that the committee that's going to be evaluating them will be able to evaluate you easily. In the clinician educator track, very important to keep track of all of the local teaching you do, particularly even if you give noon conferences and things like that, and whoever you might be mentoring. All of these things figure in to your ability to get promoted.
Exactly. And we do help you along the way because you have to meet annually with your division chief, and that information gets written down in a document that's gathered and then sent to the chief, who is you. So at that point, you can reflect on your last year. You can sit down with your division chief and think about where you've been and where you'd like to go, what your goals are, and that can be a helpful conversation to think about what opportunities might lie ahead.
Yes, and not only the division chief, although the division chief is really the person who primarily is responsible for it, but there's lots of mentors, right?
Exactly. So it's really great to think about who your mentors are. They don't have to be officially recognized. Maybe you have somebody who's a little bit more senior in the department or the division, and you'd like to just sit down with them and have a chat about your career and what your interests are and where you and what opportunities might be there. So you can have several mentors, maybe people that you work with in the research setting. And it's just helpful to have somebody maybe a few years ahead who's been through this process as well, and they can give you some insight.
And mentors can be all over the place. One never knows when one is going to find a particularly good mentor. It may be somebody who works in a laboratory with you, somebody who is your attending physician, that they will be throughout. Frankly, a lot of them may not know all the details of promotion, but they'll be able to help you in a bunch of other ways. For the details, that's where your vice chair for faculty affairs and where your division chief come in to really help you with the formal aspects of that.
Right. So one of my goals is to have a faculty website with the important information there, the promotions procedure, so that it's easily accessible by the faculty. All of this information is available as well at the Brown Medical School website, but we wanted to put it really in redundancy and to have it in a couple places so that people will really have access to it. Faculty can also meet with me and review their CV. Are they on track? And I'm happy to meet with anybody in that regard. I know Lou does meet with folks as well. So I think that's, there's a lot of interest from the faculty in helping junior faculty. So it's really important that we mentor our junior faculty, and I think that most faculty really recognize that.
It's really about getting what you deserve. You're working in an academic medical center. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of work that sometimes you feel as though doesn't go appreciated. But promotion is one way that certainly we show our appreciation to you. We have yearly meetings that are required between the division chiefs and the faculty members. Now, the faculty, as broadly defined, is very big. And, sometimes it can be difficult for the division chief to meet with everybody if, in fact, that physician who is on the faculty is not essentially under the same employment and responsible for the same thing. So there are certain situations which make it a little bit more difficult, but that's really where it starts. We also have a promotions committee that evaluates everybody, but at that point, they only evaluate people once you've had your packets put together. And so to reiterate what Karen said, we are available. I'm certainly always available. Karen's always available. Your division chief is always available if you have questions. And then I really would refer you to all of the material available online, because that's the criteria that you'll be evaluated by the school committee. We have our departmental committee, and you have to make it past that. And then there's the school committee. And once you make it past the school committee, it's generally a done deal. But the dean, the provost, and the president do have to approve it.
Right. And I think, at wherever you work, whether you're at the VA or you're at Kent Hospital, you have direct supervisors, people who are assigned as the chair of medicine at those places. So within your structure, wherever you are working, you have the leadership there that's going to assist you with promotions. So I think that's really great. We also have opportunities in the Department of Medicine. So there are a lot of research grant opportunities, whether they're sponsored by a Brown organization, or by Lifespan, or by Brown Physicians Incorporated, or BPI. There are research opportunities. There's also leadership academy opportunities. And teaching opportunities too, teaching skill opportunities. So I think those are really great and really address all the facets that academic faculty can avail themselves of. So, especially we've been taught through medical school and then residency, we've been on the receiving end, and now all of a sudden you're junior faculty. Well, how do you teach? You've been teaching as a resident, you've been teaching medical students, but really to fine tune, hone those skills, improve those skills. We're really here for lifelong learning. We want to be the best physicians. We want to be the best clinicians, and in an academic center, we also get to be researchers or excellent clinician educators. So I think it's important to think that you're here for additional learning, even as you are building your expertise. You're not there yet. You're always learning. Well, there is a time limit for some of the tracks. So you do need to be promoted within 8 years. So you do really have to pay attention then, even early along the way. First 2 to 3 years, you want to figure out which track you're in. And then beyond that, make sure that you are doing the activities that are important for that track. And then as you get to years 5, 6, 7, then you're going to be asking your division chief, how's my CV looking? And you'll get assistance from the administrator for academic affairs, who's Tricia Meehan, who has extensive experience, and she will guide you through the process. It usually involves getting letters of reference to support your promotion. And again, there's a lot of assistance along the way, but you have to maintain your CV and write a personal letter as well, and then get your letter of support from the division chief.
It's also important to just keep track of what you've been doing. The tracks are different. The research track, the research scholar track, it's actually probably the simplest one. If you want to be successful in the research scholar track, you have to do research. And if you're going to do research, you have to publish that research. And most people who end up doing research have to get funding for it, and so you need funding. And so it'll be, has this person gotten funding? How many papers have they published? And what is their influence nationally? It's important to have influence nationally in either of the scholar tracks. For the teaching scholar track, you also do need to publish. It's a scholar track, and you have to have a major role in a teaching program. It's a little bit different for the clinician educator track. Publications are not required, although they help. And so it's always good if you can put pen to paper and write a paper. That would be great. But that is something that relies more on the volume of teaching you do and how much teaching you do over time. But keep in mind, the promotion committees, particularly at the school, for any track, if you're going to move up to associate professor, and certainly for professor, they are going to want some level of national reputation. So one of the other things that division chiefs can do and should do for you is to connect you in some way with national organizations. Can you be on the editorial board of a journal? Can you be on a committee for your subspecialties society or your specialty society? Those are the sorts of things that establish you as having a national reputation. And that'll be important too. But I don't really want to confuse you with a lot of different criteria. It's really all there in the criteria on the website. But I do want to emphasize that it's going to be much easier if you keep track of it as it's coming on. And we in the department are looking into ways of making that easier. There's no decisions we've made yet, but we're looking into ways of keeping your CV easier, up to date.
And there's also ways to, in addition to publishing in traditional, in the traditional venue, we're also recognizing blog posts and, online curricula. We even would like to see your teaching curriculum that you've developed, so there's so much that's online now. The promotions committee does recognize that as legitimate, and certainly many, it's really an opportunity to publish in different realms.
Yeah, it's for old timer like myself, it's a little bit unusual, but I have been extraordinarily impressed with some of the recent faculty who've come through and the tremendous amount that they've actually done in these new venues. And frankly, those new venues get more looks than do
exactly.
The journals that we publish in. And so they really do have a major influence. So although I don't have a lot of experience in the area, I would encourage those of you who are inclined to do those things. That is just as valid teaching as the other types that we do that are more traditional. I would like to say that those of us who are in management in the department, we really want to get you promoted. The more promotions in the ability to get our folks promoted is really one of our highest priorities. And all we really ask is that you cooperate and get the kind of paperwork in that's necessary. And we are interested and willing in supporting you in whatever way we can to make sure that you are appropriately promoted. One final point I'd like to make is that the way things are at Brown, for better or worse, we only get a few slots per year. And why that's the case, I can't really explain it because it's never been well explained to me. But what it does sometimes create is a bottleneck. And that means sometimes the people who are earliest at the table are the ones who end up getting the slots. And so people have had to wait sometimes 1 and 2 years just because they haven't really been able to get their material in. And I hate to see that happen. I don't want to see anybody who deserves to be promoted not get promoted in a timely fashion.
Thanks for that. Yeah, so the year really starts in March and it's a year-long process. So year 7 to 8 is going to be the important year to start putting in your promotions material. And I'm thrilled to, and really agree with Lou that the Department of Medicine is very, very interested in you getting the recognition for all of your hard work. And so I'm glad that Lou brought that up today, because I think that's really the spirit of the Department of Medicine. Good luck with your career, and stay focused on your goals, and get the support that you need, but pay attention to the deadlines too. So wish you all the best, and send me an email if you'd like to meet with me anytime.
And yeah, exactly. I like to emphasize that too. Don't be intimidated by the title. I love talking to faculty. Please just call my assistant, Mina Orbona, set up a time. Tell me what's going on, and I'll help you out in any way I can. I really like to see all the faculty, and I don't often get the opportunity. So keep at it, and thank you for all the work that you do.